Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the Spurs-related YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well on this Sunday evening. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host. He is on his way, Jack Burford. But for now, let's welcome in co-host, special guest. Of course, it's Sean from Spurs Talk Show. Sean, it's been a little while. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, James. I'm really good, mate. Yeah, fucking love it. Excuse me. Absolutely loving...
Second word in, boom! I've not been here a while. Let's drop that one in there, you know.
And there goes your monetization.
We're not earning anything this video.
No, sorry. I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm just. This is the best summer to be a Spurs fan. You get greedy. A couple of days has gone by without any kind of massive transfer news, and you have to deal with the speculation instead. And it's like, what's going on? But that's only because we're spoilt for choice this year. It's just brilliant. So I'm really happy, man. Thanks for having me back on the show. Well, I'm glad to be here.
Of course, mate. I could see you were so excited from the passion in your opening statement. But no, Sean, it is great. Like you said, there's so many links. There's so many rumours. But just to clarify to everyone in the chat, there's already like 30 of you watching. We will only ever tell you about Tier 1 news. But there is a difference. Of course, like you might be saying on the thumbnail, well, James, why have you put Lautaro Martinez? You know, there has been a couple of sources that have said we're interested and linked, but I will never say, oh yeah, Lautaro Martinez, it looks like it's going to happen. Pretend I'm in the know. Pretend that it's closer than it is. There's an opinion side of this show where you give opinions, and there's a news side of this show. The news side will always be Tier 1. We will only ever focus on news that is likely to happen, could happen. Players are in talks with clubs. I will never start making up stuff. We can talk about how Lautaro Martinez could fit into a Tottenham system. I'm sure we could do that today. We can talk about how Eriksen may fit into this side after not being here for a couple of years. We can do that. But I will never sit here and say off some tier 800 source on Twitter that we're about to sign Eriksen and it's agreed when it's not Tier 1 yet. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm not saying I don't want it to happen. But I just wanted to clear that up nice and early before people start saying, oh, why have you got Lautaro Martinez in your thumbnail? So that is what I wanted to clear up nice and quickly. But before we start talking about all the above, let's welcome in some of the Spurs relatables. Sukil's in here. Big up. He said we should sign Hincapi, Ndicka, Martinez, Spence, Sabitzer, Eriksen, and Koulibaly. Not much to ask there, Sukil, but I love the optimism. I absolutely love it.
James, I think I was educated earlier. It's apparently Hincapia.
Oh, okay.
It's because of the thing. It's got the "a" on the end. So just want to make sure that because I got corrected, so I'm going to make sure that you're corrected too.
That's all right, Sean. No, I love it. That's why you're here, mate. That's why you're here. Ayanami saying, COYS, my mobile data is extremely slow today. No worries, Ayanami. Appreciate you being here as always. Sugi was saying, not wanting to start the video. There was a slight delay. I'm very sorry, but we're live now. It doesn't matter. But big up, gents, and everyone in the chat. I hope you're good. Carl says, come on, people. 25 off 1K. Let's get them there. Absolutely. 1K nearly there, guys. Always appreciating your support. Salt Care is in here, says big up James and Sean. Thanks for joining, mate. Really appreciate it. Same as Toffee, always good to see you, mate. And Leo Ball's in here saying Yid Army. Let's welcome in Jack as well, who has joined us. Jack, you right, mate?
Yeah, sorry that I'm late, lads. Terrible, but I'm here now and looking forward to the chat with Sean and James as always.
Absolutely love it, mate.
How you doing, Jack? Good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too, mate. How are you?
I'm well, mate. I'm well. I've seen a lot of your stuff. I love the show that you guys did when you were in the hotel or over the Norwich.
Oh, good. I'm good. One of our vlogs, was it?
Yeah, mate. That was proper cool content. Well done. Yeah, really good.
Glad you enjoy it, mate. Love your channel as well. Smashing it recently.
I thought you just said love you straight away, Jack. That was a really intimate moment there.
Bit too soon for that. I'm loving it.
Play your cards right, Jackie. Play your cards right.
Anyway, Chris is saying big up James, Sean and Jack. Big up Chris, thanks for joining, mate. Always loving your fan show opinions on Irish Hotspur. It's always good to hear your passion. Joe Alden's in here, says reckon Modric might be tempted to come back after his 1-year contract extension. Well, we're already looking to the next window here. Wow. Joe, thoughts on this one, guys?
I don't. Yeah, I mean,
I see it happening. I see it happening. Yeah. I love Modric to come, brings that experience, brings a winning mentality. But no, I think the Eriksen return is a lot more likely than Modric. I need to warm up, I think. Modric after winning the Champions League again.
On the beers, Jack?
not exactly. A long day, I think. But yes, I don't see it happening.
Good lad. Cole's saying, love it, Jack. Turn up late and make the entrance. Absolutely. Saltcare is saying, I think we're going to get Bastoni and Torres because I think Inter will fold and take the money. Villarreal want low, no show. No show, for God's sake. Giovanni, no show. Love that. Badly. So it could be a steal late on in the window. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Torres has gone a bit quiet on the chat. Everyone's started to link to Ndicka, like I've obviously put in the title of the video, and Bremer. I think everyone's forgetting about Pau Torres. I was saying this in your chat earlier, Sean. Everyone was focusing on these new links, which is obviously fair enough. We want to know what these new links are going to bring, what's going to happen. Are we going to sign any of them? But Pau Torres is still on the cards, guys. Like, you know,
but I think most people in my channel after the show we did where we looked at the stats, I think we got to a conclusion where no one really wants Pau Torres. The stat we did like a massive stat review. We got the 5 names we were linked with at the time, which was Bastoni, Torres, Sven Botman, Gvardiol, and Clement Lenglet, and we compared them to Ben Davies on every meaningful stat, everything you could think of from a left-sided centre back. You know, possession, moving forward, long passes, short passes, tackles, headers, everything you can think of, pressures, and without a shadow of a doubt, bar none, Pau Torres came literally last on 90% of every meaningful stat over a 2-year period as well. So it wasn't a small sample size. So on the basis of that, pretty much everyone that watches my show agreed that Pau
Is
Torres
that you personally saying that as well from watching him, or is that just stats alone?
No, it was stats. The seeing eye test. I do watch the Spanish league, but I don't watch it as much as the Premier League. So I'm not a stat guy. I'm not a stat guy. So I had Will from Will Stewart's THFC on, who walked us through it, and we all came to the conclusion that the weird one that stood out, Gvardiol was like number 1 on everything, right? But it was 90 million quid, and you probably won't get him for a couple of years because of his contract. But the weird like anomaly was Clement Lenglet, how do you say his name, Longley. He was number 2 ahead of Bastoni on nearly everything that was meaningful, despite the fact that he didn't play that much last season. But this is on a per 90 minutes played basis. You should check out the video. It was quite a like highlighting and illuminating to how average Pau Torres looked versus the players, even against Ben Davies. So
that's really interesting because I think I've watched the Champions League games. I watch a bit of the Spanish league, and I think Pau Torres has impressed me. But I know what you mean. I know that a lot of Spurs fans are 50-50 on this, so I'll definitely check out that video. It sounds very insightful.
Yeah, it was cool.
I would just say about the whole like stats. This is one thing I was going to mention, and I didn't want to kind of kill your rhythm because I did enjoy your stats show earlier, Sean. But the one thing I would say about stats, and that's why I don't overload the stats when we're on this channel. Obviously, Andre gives his stats rundowns and stuff like that. But like, you can start looking at the stats that aren't actually relevant for that position. You can start going into positions like, forward runs and like, sometimes you don't need that in a centre back, duels one. And I'm thinking, well, aerial duels one's important, but duels one's beating a player for a defender. They don't need to beat a defender. They need to just get the fucking, excuse my language, they need to get the ball out of the box. Yeah. And that is not ideal. That is not ideal.
I agree. And the other thing to think about, of course, is there's zero context, right? So when you're looking at it, like we had to remind everybody 100 times over, like it's a different beast comparing Gvardiol playing in the German league for Leipzig to Clement Lenglet playing for Barcelona, or for Pau Torres playing for Villarreal. And also, like, sometimes a lot of those stats are going to be massaged, right? Like they might go and play a game against a low league team and absolutely smash it, and then that number will massage their aggregate numbers. And then they might have a bad game against, or they might not even be playing against the best teams in the league because they're injured or dropped for those games. But you don't see that unless you really dig into and go down the rabbit hole. And I'm not going to do that for my channel. Like, it's too much work. So I totally take the point that there's massive context that you have to take when it comes to stat analysis. And I'm not even someone that particularly looks at it, but Will Stewart does, and he came on and we went through it together.
Yep.
And Pau Torres just didn't look that good versus the other boys. That's all.
I mean, I can exactly, John, exactly that. And the other thing I would say is, like, let's not forget Pau Torres has won a Europa League with Villarreal. He's got to a Champions League semi-final and very almost beaten Liverpool. Obviously not single-handedly, but played a big part in defending against the likes of Salah, Mane, Jota, all these good players, and played very well. Was a very standout player for me personally when I watched him. And then you compare it to Ndicka and these players that, let's be honest, we have to Google to understand how good they are. And they haven't played in the Champions League. I think maybe the player, what's his name, has played in the Europa League for Bayer Leverkusen. But some of these players haven't. Yeah, but some of these players haven't played in Europe, right? So I think you got to say, well, maybe their stats overall over 90 minutes, like you were saying, Sean, are better. But what caliber of opponent are they playing? Have they played in the big leagues? How many minutes are they playing for their club? They might be on a smaller kind of 90-minute average, but the smaller you get, obviously the more games you play, the more it averages out. So I don't know.
The best example of that is Tavernier or Tavernier, however you want to call it, from Rangers, right? He's
Brilliant
got
player.
whatever it is, 19 goals and a million.
He plays in Scotland.
Plays in Scotland, and then you go, well, does it count if he's doing it against Hibernian? Probably not. Yeah. But he did do it. His stats per 90 are just as good in the Europa League as they were in the Scottish League. So when you dig a little bit deeper and you figure that out, you go, maybe Tavernier's not maybe you can't write him off just because he's in the Scottish League.
That's really interesting, actually. As a right wing back option, I know he's older now. It is the Scottish League, but as an alternative to Jed Spence, would that be someone you'd be looking to bring in?
I'm open. I'm open to ideas for the right wing back. I'm not a massive fan of this idea that if we start the season next year with Jed Spence and Emerson and Doherty as our three options, I'm not impressed. I'm worried. I'm terrified of that. Right? Even Doherty, who's probably the best of the bunch, at least the best of what we know of the bunch, he's got a massive injury, and I've dislocated my knees 5 times in my younger years. So I know that you never trust your knees once you have a ligament injury. You're never the same, right? So whether he can even come back to the same level as he was when he played that hot spell this season is a 50-50 question mark. So for me, like Jed Spence, I'm happy for him to come in, but not if he's the only right wing back. And then to answer your question directly about Tavernier, or however you say his name, I'm open to that as an idea, but I'd rather go and get someone who's a bit more, a bit more tried and tested. It's such an important position for our formation. Go and get Dumfries. Go and get somebody.
You like Dumfries, really? I've been saying I haven't stressed it enough on the stream, but I've said I think Spence definitely. I'd look to bring him in, but I feel like we need someone who's done it with that proven quality. Like you say, it's such an important position, the right wing back spot for Conte next season. Spence needs to be nurtured in. For him to be a championship upper end starter, he can't come and hit the ground running and be competing against the best sides in Europe. He needs someone to nurture him in, and I don't know if Doherty's going to be able to do that. As good as he was, we know he can play poor. I don't think Emerson's good enough, and with his past injury records, it could be a serious problem. So I'd be looking to bring someone in with that quality, like maybe if we're dreaming Hakimi, like Dumfries, serious players in that position.
Who was your first choice, Jack?
I would love to see Hakimi being brought in, but he'd command such a huge fee and being at PSG.
Realistic.
Oh, it's a good question. I quite like Joachim Marley from Atalanta. But there's no one really stand out apart from Hakimi's the dream move, but that tier below, there's no one where I'm thinking, there's no one screaming out to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a difficult one. It's just not plentiful in options, is it? Sorry, James.
No worries at all, guys. Good talking points. I was just going to suggest Vanilla, welcome in, mate. Thanks for joining, as always. He's just come up, or he or she, I'm not too sure, has come up with a talking point of Hakimi is unhappy at PSG and willing to leave. Would he instantly make Tottenham title contenders if we brought him in, a player like that? If it was possible, if we knew he wanted to leave, would that change the whole landscape, the gap between Tottenham and Liverpool and Man City? Do you think that would help? Or it would definitely help. Do you think it would be the gap?
Are you asking?
You go for
out there.
Yeah, look, for me, like I've been saying this on my channel a lot. Like we're spending a lot of fucking time not wasting, because I know it's important to improve, but we're focusing so much on the centre backs, right? But we only conceded 5 goals in the last 11 games in the Premier League with the defence we have. 8 goals in 16 games conceded. Like I know that we need to improve, but for me, it's not the priority. The priority is figuring out how to not drop the 25 points that we dropped against low block teams over last season, and that comes from either figuring out the wing back slot or the cam role. Right, so whether it's Eriksen or somebody else, and also making sure that we're at tip-top levels in the right wing back and the left wing back spot. That for me is more important. I don't know how much more watertight we can be at the back by getting in a Bremer or whoever, Pau Torres or Bastoni. It's important to go there, but if you're going to spend £70 million on a player, for me, it should be spread across the plate, the areas where we're going to close the gap. If we didn't drop those 25 points, we'd have 91 points, 92 points, which would have won us the league. I'm not suggesting that by getting a ridiculously good right wing back, we're never going to lose.
25 points dropped against low block sides that we should be beating with someone who's got that creative spark in the middle. And like you say, Conte's right wing back next year will be so pivotal. And I think, like you've said here, Hakimi potentially being unhappy. Why shouldn't we? Being in Champions League football, Conte managing Hakimi before, he is literally a world-class player at that position. If there's a slight chance we could go get him, spend your money on that position, like you say, Sean. I totally agree with that low block sides.
Yeah. That's it. Find the solution to get 25 to not drop the 25 points, and you're already at 91 points. Obviously, you're not going to be able to not drop points entirely, but just they're the two spots you need. We've figured out the left side hopefully with Perisic. Now let's go and find out the right side, and then go and get Christian Eriksen. And if not him, unfortunately, the unfortunate reality is that if you don't get Christian Eriksen, you're going to have to go and spend 50 million quid on a player, and then pay that guy 200 grand a week just to get what you could get with Christian Eriksen. So it's a tricky one. For me, go and pay whatever Eriksen wants, and then go and spend the 50 million quid that you're saving on a Hakimi, 70 million quid on Hakimi. Get that job done. And if that means you're out of money, go and get Clement Lenglet on loan, and then you've got a defender as well.
Would you take Lenglet? Just a quick one.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, 100%. I think the guy just needs a hug. He just needs a hug.
You could be right. Yeah, because this player was a serious player when he went to Barcelona. Don't get, he's good on the ball. He's quick to come through the Barcelona system. For a player to be recruited by Barcelona, they have to be showing something. And like you say, I've watched a bit of him. He's composed on the ball. Yes, sometimes he makes bad decisions, but I don't think it'd be an awful option on a loan if we can't bring in someone like Bastoni or 100%. Potentially Ndicka.
Yeah, agreed. Good point, Jack. A couple of talking point kind of questions, guys. Keep them coming in because I wanted to ask a couple earlier, but the flow was just going too much. Bobby K saying, Jack, you're beating my drum 100%, mate. I think we should be ambitious and go for it. There's a couple of good questions here. I'm going to start off with Brandon's. Well, he's kind of made a point, not really a question, but it's a good talking point anyway. Brandon, thank you for joining. He said, I think the need for a big left centre-back is that they are progressive and forward-thinking like Romero to help break down low block sides, also providing crucial depth and quality for future years. Do you guys think that, the progressive idea of, a forward-thinking centre-back that runs forward and almost helps the attacks like Romero did a few times last season, do you think that's what we should be looking for on the left side as well? Left centre-back?
Good, Jack.
I do agree, I think, to some extent. And I think we should definitely plan for Conte because he's the man, and he's the man who's going to bring us those trophies, hopefully. But I also believe we need someone who's composed on the ball. Sorry, I'm laughing at the thing that's been brought up. But I feel like we need someone who's composed on the ball, who can sit back, who can play in a back two if necessary, because we're going to find it hard maybe next year at times to play with a back five. Sometimes we need that versatility where we can drop into a back four. And to play in that back four, you need a left centre half who's composed on the ball, isn't always so aggressive, and is willing for someone to take them on, and they're going to be able to deal with that. So I feel like we need a player who can do both. We've already got a fantastic aggressive defender in Romero, and if we can bring someone in on that left centre half who's good distributing the ball, finding those groundbreaking passes, but also comfortable defending, I think it's right to find that balance.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're right. A bit of a balance is what I take out of that. Sean, would you agree? Do you think we need a balanced centre-back, or do you think Romero's fairly balanced, but do you think we need more of a solid centre-back that just does the job? Or do you think Conte's going to be looking at someone that can do what Romero does, just the other side? Because let's not forget, Ben Davies does get forward occasionally, but
yeah, he does. Yeah.
You don't ever see him being as confident as Romero. Like Romero's more of a modern day centre back that kind of is aggressive, but also can go forward, ping a nice pass, go really hard into tackles. And I feel like Ben Davies isn't quite that player. And that's not necessarily saying Ben Davies, Ben Davies was brilliant last season. He did the job where he was needed. But I think we need this. I think I like the word progressive. I think that makes sense to me. I want a player like Romero, but on that left centre back. Is that what you want as well?
Yeah, no, I 100% it is what I want. Ben Davies surprisingly had the best stats out of all those other five players I was talking about when it come to middle length passes with progressive movement to it, like 15 yards to 30-yard length passes moving forward, like low to medium height. So he's not particularly great at popping the ball over the top, but he was very good with like aggressive through balls that were popping it forward to Sessegnon or whatever else. Better than Pau Torres, better than Bastoni, better than Guardiola, who was the best at doing that. So an underrated facility or asset that Ben Davies has, and I don't want to see that go if we bring someone else in who's a little bit like, I don't know, a Sven Botman who is 6'5", who just does his job defensively. Never loses a header, tackles for days. All very good. We probably need that more in the centre. On the left, I want to see someone who can bring the ball out like Romero does. And I think that Ndicka does that. Looking at the stats, I think Ndicka looks like the sort of player that can do that. I think Koulibaly can do that as well, even though he's 30. I know to whoever's point it was a minute ago, they want someone young who's going to do that, be a part of the project. Obviously, Koulibaly's about 30. So,
sorry to butt in, but I'd bring Koulibaly in a heartbeat because I think he can play centrally or on the left. Yeah. He brings that is a proper statement signing. Someone with that track record, someone who's going to come in, be that presence, a proper leader. I'd love to see someone like him be in the dressing room. I think it'd be a great signing. But I totally agree. If we bring him in, you bring someone in younger who can also play left centre half, someone like Romero, but someone who's going to play those progressive balls, like you say, Sean. What I really want to see next year is, like, you've got Bissouma, Bentancur, two really good players on the ball, good at getting out of tight spaces, someone who's going to turn and then get those balls into the front line. I want to see someone who plays progressive passes like Ben Davies has done this season.
Yeah, I completely agree. 100%.
Agreed. And I feel like Ayanami here makes a good point because, like, the amount of times Dave also made the point up here. Big up, Dave. Thanks for joining, mate. Always good to see you. And he said, like, the fact we're so vulnerable from set pieces, we want someone that's extremely dominant in the air, where we lost points against Man United, where we actually played very well and lost 3-2 because we didn't man mark Ronaldo. He's had a free header in the 80 whatever minute it was. Burnley, the same again. I think it was Ben Mee that scored. We just lost so many points last year.
Southampton. James Ward-Prowse, 2 late crosses in the air. Yeah.
So we need. So although it's great, like, I agree with you, Sean. I want someone that's progressive, like Romero, and I agree with a lot of people in the chat. They've got to be good at set pieces.
It's not an either or. It's not an either or. It's an and, right? It's not a binary choice. You don't have to find someone that's good on the floor but not good in the air. I just think Sven Botman, for example, is very good in the air, but unfortunately at 6'5", he doesn't have the dexterity with his feet to be able to get it forward. Maybe if you put him into the middle, he could. But there's other players that are decent in the air and that can play it out from the feet from the left-hand side. And for me, Clement Lenglet was one of those guys looking at the numbers. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's Barnabas is back as well, saying big up James, Luca Magnotta and Shawnee. I still need to know who Luca Magnotta are. This could be an absolute stitch-up. Do you know who it is, Sean?
I'm not looking it up. I'm not looking it up in case it ruins the whole stream.
I'll look it up and I'll never tell.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm really... We're not reading that one out again. Anyway, just to skip over that one.
Oh my god!
Yeah, oh my god! Yeah, we're not reading that one out again. If Luke,
I saw that documentary. I sleepless nights for a couple of days after that.
Yeah, Jack, don't look it up, mate. Don't ruin your day. Well, welcome to SpursRelated. Oh my.
That's hilarious.
I do not even know what to. Yeah, don't bother looking him up. Oh goodness. Right. Anyway, back on track. Vanilla say if the Lukaku deal happens, I think Inter will have to sell another player to afford him. We could bring in Lautaro Martinez or Bastoni. I do want to get onto that talking point about Lautaro Martinez. It is in the title of the video. It is in the thumbnail. Is it a tier 1 source that he's interested in coming here? Not necessarily. We're just like. This side of the show is about opinions, about whether you'd want Lautaro Martinez. I mean, personally, I would absolutely love Lautaro Martinez, but we'll get into that in a separate bit of the show. Bit irrelevant now because we got top 4, but remember that 90th minute header we missed? Yeah, wasn't that Bergwijn?
I was there. Holberg headed it when could have left it to Bergwijn. But anyway, we're in the top 4 now. Why are we worrying about that? Come on.
Exactly. Evening, Louis. Lovely to see you, mate. The numbers are just stacking up, and they got 50 in here. Absolutely love it. Chris is saying West Ham away, another game, another set piece, goal conceded. Very, very true. There was one more question I wanted to ask you guys, and it was from Sulka here. He's making a couple of nice talking points.
Soul Taker. His name.
Soul Taker. Got it. Yeah. I will not get that wrong again. I thought it was like Thomas Suchek, but
it's a gaming. He's a gamer. It's a gamer. Soul
Got
Taker.
you. Got you. Yeah. Does he take 212 souls? Do you think it's possible we could sign another left wing back and potentially play Perisic at right wing back? I'm going to swing this on Sean.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I would love us to sign another left wing back, even if we still want to play Perisic at left wing back, purely because I think that it's more and more likely that Reguilon's going to disappear, and I'd be terrified if we started the season with just a very, very injury prone Sessegnon and a 33-year-old. No matter how good he is and how physically fit he has been, if Sessegnon's injury prone history repeats itself, then it's a long season for a 33-year-old to have to play maybe 40, 50 games if Sessegnon's hamstring plays up again, right? So for me, I don't, and then even people say, well, you've still got Doherty that can play left wing back. Maybe so, but Doherty's never as good as he is at the right on the left. And also he's got his own injury problems to, find out how we sit with that. So I think that there is going to be another left wing back that comes in, whether it's Udogie, whether it's Kostic, Dreamworld stuff. Why don't we go and get a double swoop from Frankfurt for Kostic and Ndicka? That would be. Is it Ndicka's at Frankfurt? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
that would be an amazing. Imagine if we came out of that Frankfurt, we go and pay them 100 million quid and go and get Kostic and Ndicka. That'd be.
I don't think it'd cost that much. Honestly, don't think it'd be that much.
Maybe not. Maybe 70 million. But yeah. Oh, sorry,
don't matter, whatever, they're brilliant, aren't they? To be honest, like you say, I totally agree. We should probably grab both of them because the fee being reported for Ndicka is about 25 to 30. And Kostic, because he only has a year left on his contract, I believe, and getting older, he would command for about 20 million. So we're talking potentially 50 million under for both of those proper players.
Give them 10 million to keep it quiet, 60 million, get it done. And sign them both on four-year deals, and you're happy. Because I genuinely love the fact we signed Perisic. And I'm not worried about him, but I am worried about Sessegnon. His injury he gets injured recovering from an injury. I've never met a man who's got more he's more
Reguilon.
No, Sessegnon, because I think Reguilon's gonna go anyway. So I just think we need a third left wing back option or someone that can play on both sides. And that's Perisic. I still think we need somebody who can fit in. I'd be worried if we had those two options only,
I agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. 100%, guys. Someone's just asked, Jamie, big up, mate. He said, sorry I'm late to the show. How are we doing? We're doing well, mate. It's good to have you in. Don't need to be apologetic for joining. You can join whenever you want, mate. It's good to have you. He's saying, have we spoken about Ndicka yet? We haven't. Not just on these guys. We're going to move on to centre-backs and then maybe about Lautaro Martinez and Eriksen. That's obviously been talked about. And, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about Bissouma, which Peter is asking. That's to come as well. We want to obviously round up what everyone thinks he'll play, who will play alongside, how he'll fit, how well he'll do. We'll round all that up as well. There's so many comments coming in, guys. It's absolutely brilliant to see. Sean saying 1K subs. Come on, we're 22 away, guys. If you're sitting in here, there's 50 of you sitting in here.
I'm not fucking leaving. I am not leaving until Spurs Related get to 1,000 this evening. It happens right now. Come on!
22 away. Everyone
fucking leaving.
We're going to be here till like 3 a.m. We'll three more. Guys, jokes aside, guys, if there is 50 of you on YouTube right now, if there is 1, 2, 3, 4 of you, however many watching without a subscribe, smash the subscribe. It means you can then chat and have your say, make opinions, cause talking points, cause a stir as well if you want.
Quickly, James, quickly. I want to know if you're sitting in your living room right now, you've got your headphones on, Spurs Related, and someone's next to you there, sign them up to YouTube, grab their laptop, grab their iPad, and subscribe because 1K will really help this channel. And you know what, guys? I think we deserve it, and we're only going to push on from there. So grab your friend's iPad, grab your family's iPad, and get subscribed to Spurs Related.
Exactly. I mean, some of you surely have like dogs and cats that have a YouTube channel dedicated to them. Like, there's got to be some. There's probably like, Chris here, like smashing that subscribe button. I know his hamster's probably got a YouTube account. Just smash the subscribe on it, smash the thumbs up. And we continue with the video. Okay, a couple more comments and then we'll get into the next talking point. 10% here, always good to see you, mate. Bobby K saying if we push the Hakimi deal through, it helps our set piece taker issues resolved as well as he can take them. Very true. Scutley, haven't seen you before, mate. Very good to see you. Says maybe it's why we see Reggie training with Spurs fitness coaches on his story. Very true. 10% Dombele style impact. I'm saying triple swoop for a Kamada too. That could be good. Wow.
I really like
Wow. I love that.
But I think he'd command such a high. Surely it'd be a high price if we're getting Ndicka and Kostic for that cheap. Surely they'll raise their price for a young, attacking, creative midfielder like him. Wouldn't you say, lads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we can't surely want to get 3 players from Frankfurt.
Yeah.
It might as well be called Tottenham and Frankfurt Hotspur.
Tottenham, Frankfurt, Milan, Inter Tottenham, Frankfurt is where we're going to go. We seem to be only interested in players from those 2 teams.
Yeah. Well, we know where Paratici goes on holiday anyway. Right wing back Sukil saying, I really believe we could play a 3-5-2 next season. Wow. Yeah, could see that.
Really?
My Henry the Hoover's just subbed. Absolutely love that, Army. Get your Hoover involved as well. Tot Josh is here saying, sup lads. Tot Josh, always good to see you, mate. Otherwise known as Spurs Live. What a good page that is. And Jamie was saying completely hypothetical, but how do you lot feel about Dwight McNeil as a potential left wing back? I'm going to start things off saying no, thank you. But I do like Dwight McNeil, just not as a left wing back. What do you think, Jack?
I personally quite like Dwight McNeil as a player. I think in an underperforming Burnley side, he could really thrive under a manager like Conte. Do I think we can set our sights higher? I would rather someone like Kostic. I think he's not a natural left wing back. Obviously, he's a left winger at Burnley. He's quite creative, like you say, Jamie. He's got a wonderful left foot, but I do believe there's better options out there, probably for a similar price. So I think there's other positions we need to strengthen first as well. So I'd say no for the time being, but maybe one to look at in the future.
Got it. What about you, Sean? I'm going to swing it on you as well. What do you think of Dwight McNeil at Tottenham, and would you play him left wing back?
I don't think he's worth the money. I think he's valued at like 25-30 million according to Transfer Market. You put the tax on it for the other stuff, becomes 35 million. He's still got 2 years left on his contract. I don't think it's not going to happen. He's a good player, really good player, young player, going to do well in his career, but I don't think he's going to do it at Tottenham. So I think there's probably other places we can go. I agree with Jack. Got
you. Like it. Stuart's saying, sorry, you can do a lot better than Kamada and McNeil. Okay. Interesting, Stuart. Like your thoughts. Guys, I'm going to swing the discussion over to Jack. What do you want to start with? We got obviously centre backs. We could talk about Lautaro, Martinez, and Eriksen links, or we could talk about obviously Bissouma. I think maybe we start with Bissouma because I know a couple of people wanted to talk about it, how he will fit in, who he'll fit alongside. Do we think he'll be a success straight away? Maybe start off with some of the questions for the chat. First of all, maybe the first question could be, how excited we are. And the second thing could be, who do we think he's going to play alongside to start with? Who gets dropped, Højbjerg or Bentancur? Or is Skip going to fit in somehow? Is it going to be a midfield 3? Sean, I know you've been talking about this a little bit as well. What do you think of Bissouma? And where do you think he'll fit in? And who alongside?
Joe, it's weird, mate. On my channel, I've asked this question 50 times, and I don't think I've ever really given my own opinion on it because I don't really know how I feel about it.
See, I knew that, Sean. That's why I'm asking you here.
No, but I appreciate it. I honestly don't know how I feel. Like I don't know where. Like I honestly can't pick the best 2 of the 4. Like I think that it's probably likely that Oliver Skip is going to be the bottom rung to start with. He's going to have to prove himself, but I definitely think that Skippy's ceiling is far higher than like someone like Højbjerg's. I would imagine that the first game of the season, let's presume that they all train well. Let's presume that they all stay injury free. I'd imagine that the first game let's go to the second game of the season, the biggest game, the Chelsea game. I would think that it's going to be Bentancur and Bissouma. I would imagine that will play as the first choice 2 for the toughest games. I just think that as much as I absolutely love Højbjerg and as much as I love Skippy, I think that Bentancur's got the edge on Højbjerg. And I think Bissouma's got the edge on all of them. So if they all start well in their training camps, I would imagine that's the first choice pairing until their form dictates otherwise.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. I think on paper, you've got Bentancur. He's a silky player, calm on the ball, composed, great passing ability, much better than I thought he'd be originally. So I'm really happy with him. But I believe against sides like Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, I spoke a few times on here, I do believe we'll probably play with 2 CDMs. So I could see us playing Bissouma and Højbjerg. If Skip has a fantastic pre-season and Conte really likes him as much as he's been saying, even maybe Skip and Bissouma. I just feel like it's all going to be tailored to the team we play against. But I think Bentancur and Bissouma are probably our 2 strongest players. And once they get used to playing together, I can see that being a partnership that really excels.
Can you see that being a partnership? There's a question for both of you and maybe even the chat again. Do you think Bentancur and Bissouma could be our partnership for 2 to 3 years?
No.
Why?
That, do you know what? That was quite. I do like them both, but I do believe if we're going to hit the heights that I really hope we can, and I feel like this is a massive turning point for Tottenham. I think eventually we're going to have to really bring in hopefully someone world-class standard. And I don't think Bentancur, I think he's brilliant. I think he's a really good player. And I've spoke about building a squad that's good enough to compete for everything. But I feel like we could still upgrade on Bentancur eventually. I want to see how he progresses this season. But I still believe there's probably players out there that would really help that Spurs side. But I don't see it being a partnership for 2 to 3 years. But this year, I think it's still a strong partnership.
Okay, interesting. There's loads of...
Oh, I'd like to hear what Sean says, because I know he knows his stats and knows a lot about football. Would you agree that you think we need to upgrade eventually if we're going to push the likes of Man City and Liverpool?
Never really thought about it, mate, to be honest. Like I keep kind of one foot in front of the other and think about the kind of next season and then on. But I like what you're saying. I do agree with you that Bentancur has come in and has been he's definitely been an improvement on what we've had, but there's definitely levels. And I'm not entirely sure. Would Bentancur get this is someone on the Irish note on I think it was the Irish Hotspur. I can't remember who it was. I'm going to butcher. I'm just going to say whoever it was who said this. If you're watching, then well done, because I think this was a really good point. People were talking about like what is the level? How is Højbjerg good enough? Is Bentancur good enough? Is Skippy good enough? And I think that now, for the first time, this guy said, for the first time, we have to stop looking at where we are and stop worrying about just improving what we have. We have to now take the opportunity to start looking up and saying, would these players get into the Man City team or the Liverpool team? And if the answer is no, then they are not the long-term solution. They can't be the long-term solution. And
that's what I've been thinking. That's why I brought up the Bentancur, who I think is a really good player for the squad. Do I think Bentancur could get into Man City's squad? I think potentially. Do I think he could get into Man City's starting 11? No way. I think we're not at Man City's level. We're not at Liverpool's level. So we're going to have to build on that. But eventually, to be
this season's probably too soon, right, Jack? Yeah. Like we're not like in an ideal world. Maybe if we can figure out the way to sort out the low block, maybe we can get to 85. 85 points, I think would be a wonderful target to look for this season. But Man City could equally go and hit 100 points this season, such as the quality of what they've done, right? So it's all about levels. This season, they're perfect for what we need to try and kick on. But I take your point, and I love what they got. Whoever it was who said it, if they're not good enough to get into the Man City team, then they're not going to be our long-term solution. And I don't think Bentancur is. I don't think Højbjerg is. Time will tell whether Skippy can. Skippy's on a, we don't know what he can be right now. We have to wait and see.
Exactly.
Bissouma definitely could be, right? So is Bissouma a long-term part of the Tottenham first team? 100%. Yeah. Skippy, wait and see. The other two, they're good for now, but will they be a part of the Tottenham setup if we continue to progress in two years' time? I take your point, Jack. Maybe not.
Keen to say though, it's exciting times this season. I'm a lot happier this season than I was last year. We've even got the potential to bring in someone like Eriksen or another creative midfielder. So I'm really happy with where we're at. We're just talking hypothetically. In a couple of years, is it going to be strong enough to challenge the top sides?
Yeah, 100%. I see Ellie's in the chat now.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring out there's a couple of talking points. So Jamie's saying, don't think it's the case. This is exactly what you both saying here, really. Don't think it's the case for Bissouma is replacing. As Ali Gold says, Conte wants a team where everyone can compete, no set starting 11. We need to build a squad, and that is the fact, right? We can't be just saying, of course we can talk about who's going to start. That's kind of the talking point I was going for. But of course, if Højbjerg does get dropped or if it's Bentancur, we know that they're there. If an injury occurs, if form dips, if we need to switch it up to a different formation, there's always options, right, guys? I doubt 100%. I doubt the midfield three, they are a bit similar. So if we get a cam, then maybe Bentancur and Bissouma would be a 3. There's a lot of people saying about a 3. We could play all 3, says Soul Taker. Kuva came in here a minute ago. Sean, I don't know if you saw it, saying, I wanted to subscribe, lads, but my arms are too tired from carrying Spurs Talk Show earlier, as usual. Everything's sorted with the Bissouma court case. So we had this discussion the other day, right? So
it's funny. Sorry, mate.
I was going to say this bit isn't funny. We're clearly talking about this the other day, and about has it cleared? I think it's still there. I think he potentially still has a case. I don't know if charges have been dropped. I'm not too sure. However, what I would say is, and this is what Jack made a very good point the other day, is Spurs would have done their research, right? We're not silly. we would have had a due diligence kind of monitoring on this. We'd have checked it all out and made sure that, is it good to go ahead? Is it going to really ruin the reputation of the club? I think we'd have done our research on this, but I do think it's still overhanging him. And I would like to see it almost like cleared up in not necessarily an official statement, but you want it to
publicly.
You want it ironed out. You want it to not hang over him as this kind of potential problem in society, right? So what do you think on this, Sean? Because me and Jack have already had this discussion about this one.
I honestly don't know. I've got no idea. I've tried to find information about it. He's still released under investigation. You know what? Like 95% of people that are arrested are released under investigation. And it doesn't mean anything. So I don't know. And there's no real knowledge on the topic. As far as I can tell, you could argue there's no smoke without fire, but that's a horrible way to think about it. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I would imagine that Tottenham have done their due diligence and done a character assessment, all that stuff. I would hope
assassination. I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, that's what I thought I was going to say. A character assessment. I would imagine that they wouldn't have bought him. I don't know whether or not that factor that is hanging over his, over the cloud over his head affected the price at all. That's interesting. But maybe
no.
I'm not surprised.
But surely, I don't want to talk too much about this because we spoke about it plenty of times in the past, and I wouldn't like to comment on something that I don't know the answer to, so I don't want to guess on serious topics like this. But I do believe that Spurs are definitely smart enough. We would have checked it out. I think the price is due to 1 year left on his contract, and Bissouma believing he can play higher up. Don't forget, we still gave them 35 million, potentially rising in add-ons. So they didn't just give us a completely cut price fee. I think we paid a good price, a fantastic deal for Tottenham, but I don't think it was to do with the allegations.
Yeah. 100%. And this is the point I wanted to go through from Ellie, who is the biggest Højbjerg fan I have ever met.
She's got like a bat, like the bat symbol that goes out in the sky. Whenever someone's talking about Pierre,
she's straight in it.
She finds it, she hears it, and she's in.
Do you know what it is? I reckon she's got advanced technology where she's got it plugged into some monitoring system. Any YouTube video that mentions Højbjerg, Ellie is here.
She gets the alert. She gets the alert.
I love that.
SpursRelated have chatted shit about Højbjerg for 2 minutes. We're in here. No, joking. We haven't really been doing that, but. She did say, did I hear that Bissouma will be in front of Højbjerg? No way. I disagree. 100% Højbjerg, passing accuracy better than all of them, and he's a leader. He must stay in the starting 11. Højbjerg gets no big ups on why he's assisted more than Bissouma and Bentancur, and he's scored more than both of them. So he's a value. His value is more. Sorry. It's created probably a good talking point in the chat. Let's see what people say to that, Ellie. But, you're obviously entitled to your opinion.
Ellie's opinion. I really like the fact, because I'm a massive Højbjerg fan as well. I have said that in future, maybe he's not the world-class player that is going to bring us titles. But I do believe he's a great player this season. For the current state of the team, I think he's a fantastic player that's going to complement Bissouma, complement Skip, complement Bentancur as he did last season. So I think he's a fantastic player that is going to help the whole midfield push on next season. Because those, we're talking, say we have Skip, Bissouma, Bentancur, and maybe Eriksen as well. They're all players that could start in the starting 11. I wouldn't have any problems with them starting. Like this season, we've looked at the starting 11 and we thought, Winks is starting, or just players you're not very confident in the starting 11, or Emerson. So any of them, I'd be comfortable starting in any game in the Premier League. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, would agree with that. And at the end of the day, even if he does get dropped from the starting 11, Jack, he's going to be an incredible squad player, and not even necessarily a squad player, right? We've got, like we said, 4 competitions we're going to be playing in next season. We need a big squad. There's 5 subs. It's not like if he gets put to the bench, he's not going to be playing. He's still going to be playing 45 minutes most games, So we've got to remember that. He's probably going to be coming on in the 60th minute in a lot of games. I don't think it's a massive.
He's a great professional. He's a great professional. Alistair Gold said he's the first one there in the morning, last one to leave, along with Eric Dyer. He's a leader, someone who I think really cares about the club. First one to come out in interviews when we've lost a bad game. Wears his heart on his sleeve. I think he's a very good professional and a good player.
Yeah. Akuva's saying, why look to a couple of years' time? Conte's averaged exactly 2 points per game since taking over, with better players already, more to come, in a full pre-season. We're challenging this year. The quad is on. I love it, Kuva. I love the optimism. He's not world class. He's killer class. And Højbjerg is a very durable player, and he will probably get to rest more often, meaning that he can be on his best game more often. I've always said Højbjerg is not world class. However, the midfield competition is going to benefit all the midfielders. They have to. This is a good point as well. We haven't really discussed this. at the end of the day, if Højbjerg gets dropped, he's going to really step it up. He's going to prove a point that he should be in the starting 11. Competition pushes players, right? I think it's a good point, don't you, Sean?
100%. And when Højbjerg did get dropped earlier on in the season for a game or 2 games, dropped or rested, it was up for the debate at the time. When he did come back, I forget the games he got dropped against, or rested for, but when he came back two games later, he was the best version of Højbjerg I think we've ever seen. So
yeah, he got dropped for that Wolves game, didn't he? And then he came back.
That's right. Yeah. Look, I think competition is massively important, James, and so. On the one time, like he's played 2 set, he's had, I think he's missed 1 game, that Wolves game, over 2 seasons. So we've never seen what he's like when he's had a rest or when he's been dropped. Apart from that 1 game, and when he did come back, he was twice the player he was in the game before. So for me, I think it's massively important. And Elliot, it's no disrespect to say that Højbjerg's not the future. He's doing an amazing thing, you love him because he's a wonderful element, a wonderful part of what we're doing right now.
He's a great pro.
He's the best, one of the best pros I've ever seen. Let's see what he can do. Maybe he can be around in 2 years' time. Let's see what competition does. Maybe he's got levels we haven't seen before at Tottenham because he hasn't had that competition before, and so we'll see.
Absolutely love it, Sean. Well managed. Well said. Okay, guys, we're going to talk a little bit. Obviously, we've talked about midfielders and we've actually talked about defenders and which kind of defender we'd like. Obviously, we're not going to get into the nitty gritty of Ndicka, Bremer, all these stats. Maybe it's for another video later in the week when maybe we get more idea of who is actually properly linked, not just.
I think we'll definitely receive more concrete news on centre halves this season. This week, Fabrizio Romano has come out and said that centre half and a right wing back is our priority. And the way Spurs are moving, I seriously believe that we're going to get these deals done all before pre-season. So I think we'll talk more of that in depth when we get some concrete news.
Exactly, yeah, and expect a video later this week, guys, explaining who we're linked with and everything else. Bobby says, "Sean, you're dead, mate." Ellie's just messaged me. Oh dear, that's she's not coming on your channel again. Thoughts on Jesus potential signing? Great question to ask, Vanilla, because that's the next talking point I wanted to discuss is forwards. We've talked about defenders, we've talked about midfielders. It's time for the forwards. We've been linked with Gabriel Jesus. Is it tier 1? Well, Alistair Gold says that Conte is apparently on his list. We talked about Richarlison, Rafinha, and now obviously Lautaro Martinez is spicing up a little bit. Again, want to clarify, it's not tier 1. This is more of an opinion piece of the show. Sean, we haven't talked about forwards with you yet on this channel. Just first of all, out of all the ones I just mentioned, Gabriel Jesus, Richarlison, Rafinha, Lautaro Martinez, and potentially more that you can think of, who is it you would like to sign? And not as a backup to Kane, as an amazing squad alternative where we can switch it up, a versatile player. Who is it on the top of your wish list in terms of attackers?
Well, so subject to variables, and the variables are that I'm going to give this answer because I know that Rafinha is going to Barcelona in all likelihood. Richarlison's too expensive. Martinez won't leave Inter in all likelihood, and even if he did, 90 million is too much money because it will take away from where we can spend elsewhere. For me, I said this a few times, this won't excite anybody, but for me, the pound for pound, value for money, Premiership proven striker that we should be going after is Emmanuel Dennis. You can get him for 20 million quid from Watford. He scored 11 goals from open play in the Premier League last season, none of them from free kicks or penalties. He can play across the front three. He can hold the ball up. He's tricky. He's got good feet. He's bloody quick. He outdoes Richarlison on pretty much every meaningful stat. Better in the air. The only thing he doesn't compete with Richarlison on is shithousery. And they're putting a 70 million or 60 million price tag on Richarlison. I know that a lot of people out there didn't want Richarlison, have then been convinced of Richarlison, or did want Richarlison, have been convinced otherwise. I don't want him purely because he's not a bad player. I don't have any problem with him, but I'm just thinking about if you can find a way to get that back up, to get to help out. If Bergwijn's going the other way, who can you bring in? Who can give you not backup, but give you rotation, give you options? Someone that you're not going to wince at when he comes onto the pitch, like a Carlos Vinicius when he came in, right? Someone like him, but then you're only going to pay 20 million, 25 million on him. Whatever money you would have spent on Richarlison, let's say it was 55 million. You've got the other 35 million now that you can add to your transfer budget, which allows you then to go and attack the Hakimi transfer, or allows you to go and get Bremer and a Torres, or Bremer and, or in case Christian Eriksen decides to stay at Brentford, and then you go, shit, now we haven't got the CAM model. Now we got to go and pay 80 million quid on someone. Let's go and get Milenkovic-Savic. The reason why I think that Emmanuel Dennis is the right man for the job is because you can get him for peanuts in the pound. And on that basis, you can then save the money and go after the players that are really going to make the difference to us next season. So for me, Emmanuel Dennis is the guy I want. I've got no problem with getting Martinez. I've got no problem with Richarlison. I've got no problem with Jesus. I just think that Jesus is going to go to Arsenal. Martinez is going to stay at Inter. Richarlison, I don't think he's worth the money that is being touted for him. So for me, Dennis is the guy that allows us to do more things with the budget we have.
Wow, incredible. I mean, I was not expecting I've talked to you about Emmanuel Dennis before. I know you did a video on it, Sean, on your little walk. But I mean, for me, that's probably a first in terms of being talked about. And again, Sean, I think he made good points there. He scored a lot of goals for a poor Watford team. He's probably going to be a cheap option, especially as they just got relegated, right? I think there's a possibility here. But the only thing I would say about Lautaro Martinez, and Ayanami made a point. Where's the comment here? Obviously, we've always been linked with Lautaro Martinez for the last few windows. If it happens, it will be this window. And let me tell you why. Romelu Lukaku is apparently going back to Inter Milan. Chelsea are massively messed up, right? And Fabrizio Romano has been talking about Inter have approached Chelsea for a return. Apparently, Lukaku is desperate to go back to Inter Milan.
They're just fee, or they're willing, providing the chairman's happy for 10 million euros. So it looks like he's gone. Carry on. I
was just going to say this is what I've apparently heard on top of the Fabrizio Romano news, is that apparently because Inter Milan are still getting money from Chelsea for the 100 million they paid last summer, they're basically going to be signing him back for free because they're going to pay a loan instalment that is basically the same that Chelsea are still paying for Lukaku last season because they've massively messed up. They've taken a punt 100 million on a player that was insane for one season under Conte in a different league, and it's not worked. And obviously since he came up and said he wants to be back at Inter and whenever it was at the end of last year, things have gone wrong, haven't they? So I can see Lukaku going back to Inter Milan 100%, and then that leaves that potential for Inter to sell some players. Don't forget, you've said it before, Sean, I think Inter are absolutely crippled financially. They're still trying to recover, right?
Yeah, they need 60. They need to finish the window 60 million quid in surplus.
So who answers that? I can only think of two players: Hakimi and Lautaro Martinez, and maybe obviously Bastoni actually as well. So three players.
Skriniar as well.
Yes, but
PSG wants Skriniar, but they haven't paid. They haven't quoted. They haven't met the 56 million quid asking price for Skriniar.
But if you're getting Lukaku in as a striker, Lautaro Martinez, I know they work so well together.
And Dybala, they're getting Dybala in as well from Juve.
He's going to be big on the wages as well. So
yeah,
I mean, to me, I can see it. I'm not going to sit here and say I think Lautaro Martinez is coming to Spurs, but I will say I think it's more likely than people
think. He'll go to
think.
Chelsea, right? He'll just go do a swap deal with Chelsea, if anything.
No, because I think Sterling's going to Chelsea.
Yeah, they're linked with Sterling.
But maybe they could sign both, to be fair, with new owners who might be wanting to set a statement. They could do both. But like you say, I think there's a possibility, but I do believe it's still going to be a hard deal for Spurs to pull off. But like you say, Dybala, think about his wages. He's commanding in excess of £200,000 a week, I've heard. Lukaku, probably similar fee on wages plus the loan fee. Then you've got, and they want to make 60 million euros. This is crazy. Surely they have to sell one of Bastoni, surely they've got to sell.
They might sell Dumfries, or that they might include Dumfries in the deal to Chelsea. Chelsea are after Dumfries on the right wing back spot. I did a video on my stream about a month ago now as well. I was walking my dog, the thumbnail on it is like Inter Milan are central to absolutely everything that Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, everyone, all of the Premier League clubs that want certain players that need defenders, and Man United as well included in this. What Inter Milan how they figure out the way to raise their 60 is going to be so key to so many deals. But I think that Tottenham are sitting there waiting for Inter to make a decision, and Inter are waiting for PSG to up their bid for for Skriniar, right? And Chelsea to up there to negotiate better on Lukaku. I think we should just go round them because they've got a deal in place with Torino for Bremer, which is 30 million. Why don't we just go round Inter and go, forget Bastoni, forget you guys. You guys are taking like shit or get off the pot. And why don't we just go round them, go and get Bremer and pay Torino 35, 36 million.
That'll mess them up, won't it?
I totally agree.
It will get things going, right? Like Kuva said it earlier. Oh, no, sorry. Adam William Cahill said it earlier on my show. Like there's a whole domino effect. And Inter are the guys at the start that have got their finger poised to flick the first domino, but they're taking too long. Tottenham should just go round them and go and get Bremer.
He has his heart set on a move to Inter Milan. That's my only worry, because I totally agree. I think we should put in a strong bid for Bremer with a player of his quality, and it will definitely make Inter feel like, right, we want our man. So it could work both ways, but I feel like he's probably come out and said he wants to go to Inter, stay in the league.
Yeah, maybe. Money talks though, right?
Yeah, 100%. Just want to clarify one point. I said Hakimi was at Inter. I didn't mean that. I completely messed up. I meant Bastoni and Skriniar and Lautaro Martinez. They're their free assets at the end of the day. And of course, they've got
Berardi, they've got Dumfries. All those players could.
Not Berardi.
Barella. Sorry, Barella.
Yeah, that's the only one I was going to say. Where's Andre tonight, lads? Think he's enjoying Father's Day with his father and a bit of family time, so well-deserved time off. They still have Joaquin Correa plays everywhere, him or Angel Correa. I believe that Dybala is the replacement for Martinez. That's another good point as well. Like, Dybala's coming in. Will they need Lukaku, Martinez, and Dybala? I'm not so sure. So
it's a dream front three, though, wouldn't it? Imagine that. Imagine you had Lukaku, and then one side you had Dybala, the other side.
They have a fantastic squad. Look at all the players they have at their disposal. They're going to be a force in the Champions League next year, Inter Milan, if they can keep hold of all these players.
Agreed. 100%. Agreed. Bobby K's off to Father's Day spa treatment. Enjoy, mate. He said, enjoy the stream, everyone. Have a great day. You have a great day, mate. Happy Father's Day to you and all the dads out there that are celebrating.
If they ask you if it's making you happy, you say, not happy enough just yet. And then you find out what happens after that, Bobby K. You have a good time, I promise you, bro.
Yeah, are you having a good time? Well, only if Spurs sign Lautaro Martinez. Absolutely. You did miss out. In fact, you're so knowledgeable. I love your show. Really appreciate it, Ellie. Big up Bobby K. And players from Inter I want in order: Bastoni, then Dumfries, then Lautaro. Wow, I would put Lautaro Martinez as number one, Bastoni is number 2, and Dumfries is 3. Well, let's have a little talking point, guys. What about you guys? 1, 2, and 3. Bastoni, Dumfries, Lautaro. What are you going for, Sean? Don't know why I went Sean, but Sean.
Dumfries number 1 for me.
Wow. What about you, Jack?
Yeah. See, this is where we've all got different opinions, because I have Dumfries number 3 personally. I like him, but I actually would prefer other options to Dumfries personally. Don't think he's a bad player.
Who's one?
One's Bastoni.
So I've gone Lautaro 1, you've gone Bastoni 1, and Sean's gone Dumfries 1. What a talking point we have on here. Let's go on for another hour about this. No, I'm joking. But maybe put in the chat the good talking point from Marion Army, as always. Lautaro is highly unlikely, but never say never. Exactly. All these links with Inter players. What's the chances we get them in the Champions League? That would be nice, because we'll beat them and then they'll come to us in January.
I don't want to get them in the Champions League.
Bobby K saying, sorry, misinterpreted. I'm taking my dad for the treatment. So the 3 Spurs boys or the 2 Spurs boys haven't sorted you out anything. I'm sure they have. Not about to ask for a okie dokie. I know he said, I think left centre back and right wing back are much harder positions to get good players in the show. Just to say, people are trying to shut me down today with this. Like, I just Googled that guy, what Jack looks like, and I nearly read out that one.
I don't want to see it. I actually don't want to see it. I feel like I've been absolutely rinsed, and I'm not going to be able to recover. So
this is my answer. Love it, Stuart. Love it. Bastoni, Dumfries, Barella. Oh, Barella's gone in. See you later, Lautaro. You're not even in this. Dusty Snake Club will smash Inter. Right wing back market is so tight. Dumfries is an amazing, but imagine how much he'd improve under Conte.
Snake Club. I love that. That's amazing. What a name.
That's probably a clip, isn't it, for the highlights?
For Sean and yourself, of course. So out of these players, I know you've mentioned Rafinha looks like he's going to go to Barcelona, which I agree. But with their financial problems and Lewandowski looking to want to come there as well, do you not think it could be a possibility? Would he be your favourite out of all of them if it was viable?
Lautaro Martinez.
No, Rafinha.
Sorry.
Well, I love Rafinha. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a fantastic player, but I don't think he can play across. I don't think you could put him if Harry Kane got injured. I don't think he could come in and sort it out. Maybe you could play someone else in the same position, but I think you really need somebody who can play across the three, who's capable in the 9, 10 or the 11 role. And I don't think that Rafinha can do it. I also think that the Barcelona don't have the financial problems anymore, right? They just sold, or rumors are that they're about to sell. The members of Barcelona have just sold like 50% of their TV media revenues or something over the next 5 years, which is a way of them raising that 500 million. So I just don't. I don't think they have the financial problems. It might not be confirmed yet, but it's all but done apparently.
Well, so, they are looking for a lot of players, though, aren't they? Like,
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Every time I see Fabrizio Romano tweet, it seems like Barcelona are interested in a player. A lot of older players, like I think Azpilicueta, Alonso, they've looked at Reguilon. There's a lot of players, as many as Spurs. So I feel like it still could be a possibility, but maybe Rafinha has his heart set on a move to Barcelona.
Yeah, and I love. Listen, if Rafinha was Tottenham signed Rafinha, I would be right behind it and be like, wow, that's a statement signing. I don't think it's going to happen, but even if it was possible, I still don't know if it really solves unless you're going to get him and somebody else. You need somebody who can play the target man. And, there's other players you can go through that are really cheap for that. You could, if you wanted to go and get rid of Lucas Moura and Bergwijn and then get a Rafinha, maybe you could just go and get like a Weghorst or, I don't know, an Ivan Toney. Yeah. So you could get someone else that can come in and do the job of the target man as and when necessary. But Rafinha can't do that role in a world where Harry Kane gets injured. And in every season that he's been a Tottenham player, apart from last season, he's been injured. So we got really lucky last year that he managed to stay injury-free. We need to make sure we've got someone in cover for that role.
Sorry to talk over you, but I heard you... I heard you're not so keen because he's a player that I originally said I would be happy to take. But I've also heard a lot of contrasting opinions from Everton fans. But you said you wouldn't like him, which I can see why.
Not of the money. Like if it was like we'll give you Harry Winks and 30 million, yeah, welcome to Club Tottenham Hotspur. I'll get behind you and I'll support you. Even if we pay 65 million for him, I'll still get behind it. Like whatever Conte wants, I'm happy with. But for me,
just financially, you've got to be smart with your money, and there's other.
I don't think there's not a bottomless pit of money. There's more money than there ever has been, but there's not a bottomless pit of money. And for me, Richarlison at 65 million, when his stats are weaker than someone like Emmanuel Dennis, who will cost you 20 million. For me, it's like,
I can totally see. I like him just because he's got that versatility and someone who I think would work really hard under Conte. But maybe there are better players for cheaper that we can pick up. But I also like the idea of bringing in these statement signings, spending the money. I think it is an important position. I really do, because what happens if one of them three do get injured? And I think adding someone to that forward line who can compete with all three of them and come in and play starting 11 in the big games, I would love to see us spend the money in that position. But someone like Emmanuel Dennis, you could be picking up a serious player for a cheap price. So I think it's a great alternative.
Do you think that it would make sense to pay a club record fee for a player that, all being well, injury-free, is only going to play 35 to 40% of games or minutes?
That's what I mean. And maybe you are right with Richarlison. I think that we could spend a club record fee on someone who maybe is not guaranteed to walk straight into the starting 11, but someone who is good enough to play along the front three and compete with everyone. Because I think, like you said, I keep talking on here, we want to build a squad that is good enough, a squad that's good enough to compete with every team. So I think we need to bring in another, not world class, because world class we're talking in excess of 80 million, but someone who is like a serious player that can play anywhere along the front line. And I think Richarlison, you're looking at someone who's along those lines, but there might be better players. Like I like Rafinha because I think Son can play centrally. I think Rafinha is someone who could be world class, so a serious player. I would love to see a deal like that happen. I think him or Richarlison would probably be my main two I'll be looking at.
I agree with everything you're saying. I'm just looking at it from more like a value for money perspective.
Financial point of view, totally get it.
I just want us to go and fucking dump a lot of money on a right wing back. I don't want Jed Spence to be our right wing back option, our big right. I want us to go and find, and if it costs 50 million to go and get someone who's superb in that position, so be it. But if that means we have to save money elsewhere, I'd rather save it in the forward role than in a defender.
But Sean, just quickly, I was going to move on to the next point, but that point you made at the end there, I was a bit confused. I mean, Jed Spence is probably going to be 20 to 25 million. obviously you said you'd rather spend 50 million, but I would argue that Jed Spence could be worth 50 million in a year or two's time, and to snap him up for so cheap, I think, you don't always have to spend big to get a class player.
No, it could be. I'm not against signing Jed Spence. I just don't want him to be the only one we go for in the right wing back spot. Like if we're going to move Emerson to Atletico Madrid, if we're going to move Doherty to Wolves, whatever, if we're going to have three right wing backs, I don't want those three right wing backs to be Emerson, Doherty, and Jed Spence. I'm happy for them to be Emerson, Spence, and someone else, or Doherty, Spence, and someone else. But if we have those three, Spence, Doherty, and Emerson, as our right wing back options next year, even if Perisic can play across there, but you're going to waste his talent because he can play there, but he's not as good there as he's on the left. So for me, I just think it's a key position, it's a core position, and it's a massive risk. Like it's a punt. Jed Spence is a punt. We don't know. As much as he might look like a good player that could fit, and Conte could get the best out of him, we have no idea what he's like at Premiership level.
True, very true.
Is there any players? Sorry to keep talking about this position, but I do think it's really important. So I'd like to hear Sean's insight.
It's your favourite position, Jack, because at the end of the day, you look like our ex-player who was a defender. Actually, was a midfielder, Eric Edmond. Eric Edmond. So we've got Eric Edmond on the show today, guys.
I hope that's better than the last one. I'm sure it is.
No, Eric Edmond, blonde, long-haired guy. Yeah.
Have you got any
Swedish?
Have you got any alternatives to Hakimi, like just that bracket below? Because
realistic ones, I'd go after someone from Leicester. Kuba makes this point all the time, and I think it's a fantastic point. Pereira or James Justin, right? Like Leicester City have got 3 or 4 right wing backs. They're saturated in right back talent, and for me, you could go and get a James Justin or a Pereira, and Leicester wouldn't be that like you could probably pay 25-30 million for one of those guys. I don't understand why we don't go there.
I actually said Pereira on our video when we said one player from each Premier League club. I don't know if James remembered, so I like that. Yeah. James Justin as well. He's a young player, only going to
James Justin,
and he can play left wing back, right wing back. I think England international. He's a serious player, so I think that's a great point actually you've made. I'd love to see him at Spurs.
Yeah,
good one.
Premiership proven as well. Sorry, James.
Right, guys. No. Don't be sorry. It's good talking points. Eamon's in here. Big up, Eamon. Thanks for joining. He is saying, who do you think we will get next? Which moves me perfectly, which is why I had the comment up for about 10 minutes, is perfectly onto our last talking point, which is, who do you think we'll get? Who do you want if I asked for 3 players? So this is the talking point. 3 players you want to sign before the end of the window. Of course, we've already signed 3 players. And we're due to apparently get 6 to 8 players. So I'm saying, who is your top priority 3 players in any position? And then I want to say at the end, I'll keep it separate, but I want to know what Sean thinks in terms of realistic aims for the season and what you think we'll achieve, because I want to get it on camera in case you're wrong. Not joking. Not joking. But Rafinha, 55 million. That's a bargain. Harvey Barnes says Scuttly. Sorry if I got that wrong. Oh, he said Spurs in brackets. Question. I guess we've got to go with Ellie's question to maybe make amends after the Højbjerg absolute digging from Sean. No, I'm joking. Molina from Udinese will be an excellent buy. Scores and assists, goals, strong, brilliant attacking, got a great shot on him, and is quick, can pass very well, and is better than Jed, and he's an Argentinian international. You've been watching a lot of Jack Kanicki on Flat Cap Euro Talk. That sounds like some Flat Cap Euro Talk analysis there, Elliot. I absolutely love it. But I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about this guy. So maybe after Jack, who probably also doesn't know. Jack, do you know this guy?
No, to be fair, go on. I thought I was a Stato last week, and now you're downgrading me. No, I have seen him. I'm pretty sure someone's going to catch me out, but I'm pretty sure he played in the Argentina-Italy game when they won 3-0. So he's clearly a good player if he's making that squad, and it's a good alternative. But he's also quite young. I think it'd still be a bit of a risk, and maybe we need to go with someone with a bit more experience and a bit more pedigree. But I really like the shout, Elliot. I think he could be a very good player.
Cool. Yeah. What about you, Sean?
No, I agree. Yeah, he is young. He's 24 years old. He can play on the left. He's played left wing back as well as right wing back or right back. I don't watch too much of Italian football. I don't watch too much of Udinese, but his stats.
You're more a La Liga man, aren't you, Sean?
Yeah, I am actually. I like German football. If I'm honest, if I'm going to pick a league that will watch on ITV4 on a Sunday, the roundup. It'll be the German league, if I'm honest.
Love it. Bundesliga experts coming on again soon, guys. So get your comments in from Bundesliga TV. Stuart Conway saying left centre back, right wing back, forward. Yes, on to the talking point. A&M saying Raphael, yeah, the old Man United right back, getting back. Rafinha, Gvardiol, and Dumfries. Doubt any of those are happening, though. Who wants to take this one first out of you two? The top 3 priorities. I'll put it on screen just in case the chat want to answer it. Top 3 players you should. Well, I can't even spell. Apparently, it's too late on a Sunday. Top 3 players you should. Yeah, we should buy before the end of the window. I should say. I'll just change that very quickly.
Players, not positions. Players.
Positions or players, but I mean, ideally, I would want 3 players you want to sign before the end of the window. The top ones.
Well, I think we need a right wing back that's better than Jed Spence. So if we sign Jed Spence, that's great. I'm happy, but I'm not happy if that's the only right wing back. I would like to get, and there's anyone. Molina's an option. There's, like I said already, there's a couple of players I'd take from Leicester. I don't think you'd get someone like I don't even want Tariq Lamptey, but there's plenty. People say there's not that much right wing back options out there. There are plenty of right wing back options out there, but a right wing back option for me would be one. I feel like if we can get that done, then we need to move on to the attacking midfielder like an Eriksen. If that happens, I'm happy. I've got a feeling it's done. Right? I don't know, not because of any of that in the know stuff. I just got a feeling that like if they weren't confident in it being done, we would have heard more rumours about other central midfielders being linked with Tottenham, and the fact that we haven't suggests to me that it might be done or close to being done. And if it's not done, then we could be in trouble. So we definitely need someone to fill that role. So Christian Eriksen in the middle. Let's say, for argument's sake, James Justin on the right wing back. And then the next position I would want to see us do is as a centre back. And for that position, I'm happy with any one of the 7 or 8 players we've been linked with. Any one of them will improve us. The most likely I would imagine is probably. You know what? I don't even know which one's the most likely right now. Probably. I'm going to say Clement Lenglet because I think he's a loan deal. I think the rest of them are going to be difficult to do.
Okay, so you've gone long. So just to clarify, you've gone Longley, a right wing back, but not specifying who.
Not Jed Spence. Someone better than Jed Spence would be what I want to see.
Okay,
someone like a James Justin, someone like a Pereira, someone like a Dumfries.
Pereira, I like that. I like that. Not enough people talk about him, and I think he's a very good player.
Answer you, James. Just stole it right under my nose.
Yeah, and who's the third? Sean, just to get cement.
Christian Eriksen.
Christian Eriksen. Okay, Eriksen. Got you. Jack, it's your turn.
Right, so I've gone with right wing back. I really like James Justin, but I'm also going to go for Pereira just because I believe he was a fantastic right back in the Premier League. Like, yes, he's got some injury problems, but if we bring in someone, which I would personally do, I'd love to see us bring in 2 right wing backs, as I believe it's such a pivotal position, and I think the players we have currently definitely need upgrading on, as good as Doherty may have been. So Pereira would be my right wing back, but I'd like to see Spence being brought in as an understudy to learn off him.
Like a Sessignon to Perisic, I guess.
Yeah. Left centre back. I have watched him a few times. I think Ndicka would be a good player. He won the Europa League with Frankfurt. I think he's an aggressive centre half. His underlying stats look amazing, and I think he's someone who could play well under Conte. Only going to improve. And the centre mid that I would bring in has to be a return for our man Christian Eriksen. I know some people are not so keen. Me personally, I think Sean was saying it earlier, fantastic point, saying if we were going to bring in another player like him with his quality, you're paying in excess of 50 to 60 million. And I think Eriksen has played for the club before. It'd be a really fantastic story. What happened to him in the World Cup, I think it was the World Cup or Euros, was terrible. And for him to come back with a full 60,000 fans at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium would be amazing. And I still think he's a serious player, and I'd love to see him bring silverware to Tottenham. I think it'd be a fantastic story.
Amazing. Nice. Amazing. I like that. And I like the way you've kind of justified Eriksen there, because I'm still not sold on Eriksen. I mean, I would still love him, right? I would still love him for the sentimental reasons. I still think he's a world-class player. The thing that I say it every stream, guys, and I don't know if I'm being too harsh on this point, and I want to know Sean's thoughts on this, but let's just rewind, before everything, obviously happened with him health-wise, which was horrendous. And, I was nearly in bits when he collapsed and everything else. And I was so worried and everything else. Before that, before he went to Inter Milan, but when he was still at Spurs, it was January, 2019. And he was banging on the door saying he wanted to leave, banging on the door saying he wanted to leave. And for the 6 months, we didn't let him go. Levy didn't let him go. And maybe Levy didn't want him to deal with it, to leave. And, Levy has stopped players leaving in the past. We know that. But for me, he wanted to move on to better things. And to be fair, he won trophies. But I didn't like the way he dealt with those last 6 months and didn't really run for the shirt and didn't really play for the badge and didn't really be the Eriksen we knew, okay? And
I agree.
People might say, well, James, if someone wants to leave, that's fair enough. But let's just not forget that time where he didn't still give 100% for the badge, because he didn't. And I don't care what anyone says. I can find the highlights of him jogging around, pissing me off at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That annoyed me. And he went from a 10 out of 10, I'd say legend, to an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, because that actually upset me from someone that was almost my hero. To see him not giving 100% for the badge, I hate that. I can't stand that. What do you think on that, Sean?
I agree. I was really surprised how well he was received by Tottenham fans, Brentford away, when we struggled that game. There was a lot of short memories, and I think it was about short-term future prospects, trying to remind him, "Oh, we still love you, bro." What I wouldn't be surprised to happen is if he decides to stay at Brentford or moves to Man United in the off chance, if he got booed, because I think we're kind of like, it's a fickle point, right? He's either one of our own or he's not, and he let us down, and we'll forgive and forget if you come back and put in a shift now and you want to get ready for the World Cup and you want to do it again with the new lease of life that you had, but. I'll forgive, but I won't forget. If you choose to come back, I'll get over it. If you don't, if you go somewhere else, then to me, you're dead. You're dead.
Okay, so exactly that. And so what? Because he's still very heavily linked with Man United. Again, I don't like talking about the rumours too much. Like, we want to keep it tier one here. But in terms of opinions, in terms of putting that aside for a second, he's linked with Man United. Facts.
Yeah.
Fabrizio Romano said he's linked with Man United. Facts. If he goes to Man United, all the fans that said they want him will be calling him a snake. And that's because, not just because he's gone to Man United, but they'll link it back to when he previously left, when he was started to not put effort in. And that's a fact. People
fickle. It is fickle, but fickle is like a negative word. I don't want to say that about fans because they're going to change their mind. But it is like, you're either with us or you're against us, bro. And you've got a chance to come back and make amends and be a part of something special.
Redeem that 1 out of 10 that I put him down of. Yeah, exactly.
We'll forgive and forget. Come back and be a part of it, and we'll sing your name. But if you choose the other choice, you could take the other. You take the right hand lane, and you take right at that crossroads. To me, I will boo you next time I see you at White Hart Lane. If you're wearing a Man United shirt, or if you're wearing I'm pretty it's black and white to me. You're either with us or you're against us right now. You've got a chance. You've got a choice, and you're right. He did everything you just said, James. I completely agree with you. He dropped the ball. He didn't give a shit about Tottenham when he was trying to force a move. I'll forgive you now if you want to come back and be a part of it, but there's a condition. If you don't, then it's dead to me.
100%, and I agree.
We're split on this, so I totally see where you're coming from. But for me, Eriksen, I would love to have him back. He'd get all my support. The reason why I say this is because it's really split on this. Yes, he was not giving his all at Tottenham with that last 6 months. He was not the best player we know he can be. But I look at it this way. If you've got Real Madrid wanting you, you've got all the top players in Europe, you're playing some fantastic football, and you've stayed loyal to that club, and you've given everything you can until the Champions League final. I believe in his head, look, he's reached the end of a cycle. That Pochettino era was amazing, but around that place, it was toxic. You saw Pochettino didn't want to be there. Everyone felt so drained from that season where we thought we did it all. We literally one step away from the biggest competition in European club football, and we just fell short. I felt like most of the players had reached the end of the cycle, and they felt like this is not going to get better than this. And I feel like Eriksen had given his all. He was amazing. He had more assists, more creativity than Ozil. He was literally close to the De Bruyne standard. But I feel like He felt like he gave it all, and he felt like it was the end of a cycle, and he really wanted a new challenge. He came up publicly in I think it was the summer before or early summer, and he wasn't given that move. Eventually, he moved probably to a team that was probably part of us, Inter Milan, at the time, and he didn't get that dream move. So he was still probably didn't get the chance to play for Real Madrid, which he definitely had the opportunity to. Let's not get it twisted. He was that good, and he felt a bit let down by Levy, who he might have had a prior agreement with, and he wasn't allowed to let go. We know what Levy's like.
That's fine, Jack. But the fans aren't responsible for that, and he let us down with the way.
Yeah, that's true.
And there was other players there's other players that left Tottenham after the Champions League.
Do you not see my point, though?
I do take your point. I take it. But there was other players that left. Moussa Dembele played his heart out until January when he moved off to China. There was other players that left the club. Kieran Trippier. There was other players that left the club the following season after the Champions League ending, and they didn't leave in the way and the manner that he did. Like I say, I understand what you're saying. There's a way to go about it. There's a way to go about it, and the way he did it was, for me, disrespectful to the fans who have always had his back and screamed his name for 5 years. Yeah. Like I say, I'll forgive and forget, but if you go the other way, mate.
I agree with what you're saying, but sometimes I don't always believe it's the player choosing to play that bad. When you're in a bad state of mind, and he's like, he couldn't do it. Maybe he just weren't up to that level. It took him a while to get back to that level when he joined Inter Milan. Let's not forget, he didn't turn it on straight away when he got there. No. It took him a while to get into
think he was more worried about getting an injury. I think he wasn't going in because if he got an injury, he wasn't going to get his free transfer would have screwed him over.
It's all down to opinion. All down to opinion. And I totally see your point. But in a heartbeat, I'd take Eriksen back. I still think it's a fantastic story.
In a heartbeat, I would as well. As long as he comes. If he comes,
his quality ability, the sentimental, and I think that deep down, he knows Spurs is his club. So I really hope he does choose to come back to us.
I'd take him back in a heartbeat, but if he goes to Man United in a heartbeat, we got a big problem. Yeah, he's a snake, right?
100%. That's exactly how I feel about it.
I love it. Look, we talked about top 3 transfers coming in, and we talked about Eriksen for 15 minutes. Absolutely, this is what this show's about, right? Absolutely love it. Gagetta, sorry, going back to the talking point. Maybe we'll talk about Eriksen for the final 5 minutes. Let's see. Top 3 players you would like before the end of the window. That was the question. Gagetta saying Eriksen, Rafinha, and Bastoni. That's pretty solid.
That's what I would be along the lines.
Scuttley's going Jimenez, Spence, and Richarlison. Jack, what do you think on this one, Jack?
Jimenez, very good player. Inter Milan. We talk a lot about Inter Milan, but he plays at Atletico Madrid. Spence, Richarlison. I like Spence, but we need someone else with that higher caliber currently to alongside him. Richarlison, also a good player, but I would take Richarlison. I don't think he's a bad shot at all. It's all down to opinion.
Yep. Bremer and Ndicka, Danjuma. No one's talked about Danjuma.
Good player.
Good player. Sean, do you like Danjuma?
I don't think he'll come though.
He's linked with Liverpool and Man United, I think. So
okay, Man United isn't that where he came? Isn't that where he played? Or no, he came from Bournemouth, didn't he? It was a really random one. I was about to say Danjuma. You're not called Danjuma. You're called Danendra. Pau Torres, Anthony, and Spence. I'd like to have another right wing back, but I'm not sure who like that. Yeah. Gagetta's saying about the Eriksen point, and we've gone straight back to it. That was only a matter of time. Let's also not forget he still gave us moments. Came on against Olympiacos, the free kick against Norwich when we were losing, the assist against Wolves.
He scored the last-minute winner against Brighton at the new stadium.
We had about 30 shots that game, and he banged one, didn't he, from 30 yards.
Well, we could do that moments thing with like Steven Bergwijn, you know?
Yeah,
Bergwijn
true.
Against West Ham in the Carabao Cup was phenomenal. Against Leicester, the 2 goals in 3 minutes. Like, we can't be.
I love him for it. I told him when I saw him for it. Thanks a lot, mate. Thank you so much. You've helped my team get top 4, and good luck with what you're doing. So,
fair enough.
For me.
Pau Torres, Anthony, and Spence. Gagetta's saying he wants to stay in London, so I see it happening. The amount of players who, this is what Jack was saying, and this is where I do agree with Jack in a way. The amount of players who downed their tools against under Pochettino towards the end, basically threw their toys out the pram. Eriksen gets crucified for it because he wanted to leave. I'm not crucifying him, Gagetta. I just want to clear things up. I'm just saying let's not forget that moment, because if he does move to Man United or wherever, then we're going to start talking about that. So I'm just, I'm preparing for people. Please don't compare what Bergwijn has done with Eriksen. Dan Juma said he's got unfinished visit at Villarreal. One more comment from Ellie, and then there's a question for Sean, actually. A lot of our players down tools after that Champions League final. They're all down in the dumps when Poch got sacked. Yes, Eriksen was the same, but I'll forgive him because he was loved for the 7 years he gave us. Absolutely. I'd rather have Neves and Neto from Wolves. Wow, interesting. Stuart is asking Sean, what if he goes to Brentford, Sean?
Dead to me.
No,
well, even though he was there 6 months already.
I disagree. I think
no, he's not dead to me, but he's like, I don't know. I won't boo him. I won't boo him, but I'm not going to cheer his name when he comes back.
Oh wow,
I'm not. I didn't cheer Dele Alli's name when he came back. I didn't. I was at the Everton game when we won 4-0, and Dele Alli
5-0 actually.
5-0. Yeah, sorry, 5-0. It was that easy. I was in the bar for the 5th goal, but like when Dele Alli came onto the he was getting warmed up to come on, and we started singing that we've got Dele Alli. I was like, oh,
I understood it. I've got to be honest. I'm more of a sentimental. I'm happy. I love that stuff. Bring it. You've done good for us, so we'll support you for that night. But we're still going to beat you 5-0.
He did good for us for 2 seasons. Did fuck all for 2 seasons. I don't know. He getting paid a lot of money. Like
still, but wouldn't you say he was still part of one of our most exciting times in the last century? Is that right? Decade.
If Kieran Trippier came back, do you think Kieran Trippier would be treated? Would we have songs sung for him?
Probably didn't do as much as Dele Alli, though, did he?
How much did Dele Alli do?
I think
he was incredible, Dele Alli, for like 2 or 3 years.
And over those past 3 seasons, with 3 seasons under Pochettino, we had the most combined points. I think he was unbelievable, one of the best players in the Premier League at the time, and he's fallen off since then. So I would still give Dele Alli. But anyway, it's all down to opinion, as I keep saying.
I love that. It's a great way to finish up when people disagree. It's all down to opinions. I like that, Jack. I like that.
Yeah, it's Jack's way of saying, like, I've argued my points now. You can make your own fucking mind up. Right, final one then. Final talking point, because there is still 50 people, and I'm absolutely loving it. But we'll make a final discussion point. And we have talked about Eriksen. So I just want to finally know from the chat. I'm going to whack it in the comments now and whack it in the banner now. Eriksen back, yes or no? Because I still feel like the fan base is a bit divided. Yeah, and maybe we'll get a bit of Jack Bertha versus Spurs Talk Show round 2 as well. So I'm all for it. Might go and get the popcorn. So there we go. Eriksen back, yes or no? Eric Dyer for Ballon d'Or says Lenny. Pick up Lenny. Trippier was so bad that last year he was with us. Cost us goals every other game. He's done well since he's left though. It's because Dele was brilliant for us 2 seasons. Yeah, there we go. And played a big part in the Champions League semi-final. Scored the quickest 50 goals.
Fair enough. I'm being harsh. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm being harsh on the Dele Alli point. I'm not being harsh on the Christian. If Eriksen fucks off to Man United, dead2me.com. If Dele Alli comes back, I still won't sing his name, but I won't boo other people for singing his name. Is that okay? Is that a fair compromise?
Yeah, that's fair. Lenny saying, imagine the Eriksen and Dyer link up again. Gagetta saying, yes.
Eric Dyer advocate, I know. This guy, every time, I know Lenny is a good friend of mine. He literally walks into any pub, anyway, goes, I love Eric Dyer. Don't matter what they're talking about. He just absolutely loves Eric Dyer. He even had a cardboard cutout saying, Eric Dyer, bring me your shirt. He absolutely loves him. When he was terrible, and now obviously starting to play look like a proper player. So big up to Lenny Lucas in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, Lenny Lucas, if you've got banners saying, yeah, can I have your shirt, Dyer, at least there won't be any competition. You'll be the only one doing it. So
does he take it even if he's sat in the upper tier?
Everywhere he goes, anyone got a Dyer shirt, he loved it.
Nice.
Leo's saying, boys, you're still live. Jeez, yeah, it's been a good stream. Obviously, when you get guests like Spurs Talk Show on, you got to make the most of it. I've got 50 watching on YouTube alone. It's been crazy, guys. But it's got to be said, and I've only plugged it once. We are 15 subscribers away from 1,000.
Come on, people.
15. There's 50 of you watching. There must be 10 of you that aren't subscribed. Like, there must be 10 of you.
What are you doing?
If you're enjoying the content, smash your subscribe. It's free to do. Smash your like button.
It costs you nothing. It means the world to these 2 boys.
I'll tell you what as well, quickly, I'm going to add to this. This is a selling point, USP.
Oh my goodness.
If you have subscribed in this stream, or you're already subscribed and you create another channel to subscribe, I'm going to write your name down on this notepad and give you an extra giveaway, extra entry into our giveaway coming soon. So if you're going to do that and bring us over the line, get it done, because you want to be part of this giveaway because it'll be something special. I'm telling you.
And Jack's gonna fund the giveaway himself.
You're doing subscriber only giveaways, and you still can't get 13 more subscribers. What is wrong with you people?
What is it?
What is wrong with you? Just hit the button.
It?
It costs nothing, for God's sake.
Yeah, I mean,
Christ,
we're not leaving. We're not leaving till 1K. There we go. Just to maybe sell it even more than Jack's just done. Even if I can't, we're going to be giving away like something good, like the new home Spurs shirt or something huge like that. You know, they're about 80 quid for goodness sake. I mean, we'll give away something good. Let's hit 1K tonight and see what happens. Gonna see if I have any more accounts. I mean, surely just make your dog an account or anything. And just get over the line. Come on, subscribe, support these wonderful, brilliant, fantastic lads. Really appreciate it, Ellie. Very kind words. And big up to Catman Jesse saying big up and happy Father's Day. All the pet dads and single mums out there that do double every day like superheroes. Absolutely love it. Leo's saying stream till 1K. So, I mean, Sean probably wants to go and eat his dinner, but Sean's also up to the task. I know he is. No. He said he's not leaving.
We're not leaving.
Are we actually not leaving? Because I am so up for staying here until we get 1K.
Oh, we've gone for an hour and a half now. We might as well go for 24 hours.
Let's get it done. Because you know what? We deserve this. We do deserve it. We bring some fantastic points. We bring some fantastic graphics. We bring some fantastic guests. And you know what? We know our stuff. And we're only going to
10 off. We're 10 off. 10 off. We just gained about 6. 10 subscribers.
I'm pretty sure.
Getting flustered.
I might have an extra account.
Oh, it's all coming out now. It's all coming out now.
Let me see what I can figure out for you boys.
Keep going, lads. A&Army's eating risotto. Look, yeah, guys. You know, if we finish talking about Spurs, what are you eating for dinner tonight? You know, no, I'm joking. Or you can let me know if you want. But maybe we think of, one more. Oh my goodness, there's more. Get Zabani. This kid is great for the future, says Aleski. Aleski, first time in here. Big up, mate. Absolutely love it.
No
John Doe.
I've just subscribed on my old school account.
There you go. There's an extra one for you, boys and girls.
John Doe's just found one. John Doe, absolutely love it. Subscribe if your queen will not be amused. Exactly. Ignacio on Facebook, absolutely love the support, but get over to YouTube for a second, man, and subscribe. They're saying Eriksen, yes. Ralph from Wolves, yes. And Leonardo Trosso. Lenny went for a kebab. Lenny, absolutely love it. Yeah, I'm here. That's why you enjoy it. Absolutely love it. But I want to hear more about Eriksen just very quickly before we bang on the door about a few more subscribers because we're 6 off now. We're 6 off.
Come on!
6 subscribers. Keep going.
I'm not fucking leaving!
That we never really talk about subscribers. We might say it once a video, and you get a lot of content creators, rightly or wrongly so, all they talk about is subscribers. All they talk about is likes. But we care about building a community and making sure you enjoy the show. But I really feel like if we can get to this 1,000 subscriber mark, it's going to make a massive. It's going to be the start of something special. I really hope. So come on, we're 6 away. You've enjoyed this.
I'm going to post something in a couple of Spurs.
Legend.
And hit this link.
Look at this, the plugin. And to be fair, like Jack just said, we never plug the subscribe. We say it once or twice a video, but we're so close now. We just want to keep bringing you content, and we've had about 50 people all stream on YouTube. I'm hoping you guys have enjoyed the content, and if you have, also smash the like button. But maybe we'll get one more talking point just so we can go over that mark. Jack, I'm going to leave it to you because I've been thinking of all the talking points. Actually, I haven't been thinking of all the talking points. I've been saying your ones, to be fair, Jack. Give you credit where credit's due. But have you got any more talking points?
Yeah, well, you know me. I can think of something. Thin air. I'll pluck it out the air and we'll talk about it. So what would I like to talk about? Let's... Oh,
look at that.
You know what?
I got a question for you.
Go on. Joe Alden said, had a Christmas because too many people were done in with. Rained as per. I had no idea what you're talking about, mate, but I absolutely love the comment.
that's just words. That is just words written down.
Do you remember? It's like when someone came in the other day and said something about that. I've just taken my girlfriend shopping. I'm not sure what to think. And I'm thinking, this wasn't for us. And then 2 minutes later, he put, shit, that was meant for WhatsApp. And he's put it in our YouTube comments. Unbelievable. 3 away. Wow, 3 away.
Listen, it's going to happen right now. I put this message into 5 different WhatsApp groups.
I've got a live
countdown. They're all Tottenham fans.
Huh?
Have we got a countdown anywhere?
We haven't.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Come on.
We should put it on a banner though, shouldn't we?
I'm gonna grab my phone. But what's your point, Sean? What was you gonna mention? What was your question?
My question is, who is your all-time favourite left wing back at Tottenham? Left back.
Welcome from Texas.
I am a bit younger, so I am sure I'm going to miss a couple of people. But in his prime, I know it ended a bit toxic, but I absolutely loved Danny Rose at Spurs.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Goal against Arsenal, that was special. I think every time he stepped on the pitch, he still gave it his all. In that lead up to the Champions League final, against Ajax, even in the final against Liverpool, I thought he was one of our stronger players. I thought he was brilliant. But I also I'm pretty sure he's a left back. This was when I was very young, but I remember watching Benoit Assou-Ekotto. Is he a left back or a right back?
Yeah, he was a left back and he hated football. But he was
Benoit Assou-Ekotto. Fucking happy. I love that guy. He's awesome.
There you go. And he's got, he's got the tube to Spurs games. And his hair bombing down the wing. I liked him.
He was like the Mark Cucurella. He's like the before version of Mark Cucurella, or the after.
Yeah, like that
because he braided it.
My favourite left wing back for Spurs is Lee Young-Pyo.
Oh, nice!
I'm joking. He's so bad. He was so bad.
I was at a game once where Robbie Keane, he basically was so skinny and lightweight, and Robbie Keane turned around and went, "Mate, look, I could hear him from the upper tier on the East Stand. He going, fucking man up!" And he did this this thing.
Is he Scouse? Was he? I didn't think he was Scouse.
Yeah, he was actually Norwegian. That was the accent he was trying to do. You git, but. Robbie Keane went, "We fucking hell, man up!" And Lee Young-Pyo turned around and went, and responded with a "yes sir," but did it in the same way.
Imagine that got filmed. That would have been great TikTok content. That would have been amazing.
It was like a way of saying, "Sir, yes sir."
Oh my goodness, one sub. We're on 999. It's crazy.
Come on! You're about to get it right now. You're about to get it.
Do you know what I'm really worried about? The massive yo-yo. The massive yo-yo where someone wants to be the 1,000 and everyone's going to unsub.
Someone's going to be a little git and unsubscribe.
Someone's going to try and be funny, aren't they?
Yeah, it happened to me.
It done it! It's there! Hey! Come on! Absolutely love it, guys. Absolutely love it.
Congratulations, boys. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Absolutely smashed it tonight. It's the first time I met you, mate, but I feel like I've known you for years after this 1,000 time. I'm absolutely buzzing. Thank you so much. Because it wouldn't have been done without you.
No, it's awesome show. You guys deserve it. It's insane that you only have 1,000. My channel's been growing really quickly. Your channel's growing really quickly. There's so many small channels out there that deserve to be far higher than they are. And congratulations, boys. You absolutely smashed it. I love it.
Thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the kind words. Everyone in the chat. Come on, just saying, just got my sister to sub. Look at that commitment. Come on, this is crazy. 1,000 subs. Here we go. Still finalising the coming minutes.
Here we go. Confirmed.
B12. Big up. Congrats, guys. Spam Andre with DMs for absolutely love it. 1K subscribers.
Big up to Andre. Been a massive part of this as well. Made some fantastic stats. He's not here today, but he will be when we maybe hit 10K, maybe hit 100K, maybe hit 1 million. Who knows?
Jack's lost his head. But anyway, congrats, guys. Spam Andre DMs. We'll have to. Congratulations, Spurs Related, well deserved. Cam and Jess, you've been a big part of this. Obviously, all the Spurs Relatables, as we like to call them. Absolutely love it. All the support. Bodrill, late to the show. Evening, guys. Pick up everyone. Spurs Related. Congratulations. Maybe they should be our Spurs Relations, not Relatables. Maybe let's decide. I like Relatables. Stuart says congrats. But anyway, all the support. Honestly, we'll do a 1K video at some point. But I really do appreciate all the support. Tonight we've gained 25 subs alone. Big thanks to Sean also for his support, obviously bringing over the Spurs. What are they? The Spurs Talk Show puppies?
There's two versions. There's the Spurs Talk Show puppies and the Spurs Talk Show ponies.
Oh,
pony. What makes you a pony and what makes you a puppy? Is it
the puppies? The puppies are the members that are like the £2.90 or £2 members or whatever, £2.99 members. Yep. And the ponies are the £5 members.
Whoa!
The only difference is really I was going to make it. I've changed it all. I haven't updated it yet, but I'm about to go live with member phone-in shows. and I'm going to make it open to all, but I'm going to give the ponies like other access to other things like discount on merch and members photo shows and all that sort of crap. But yeah, the show ponies and the show puppies and the relatables, we should all get together for a multi-stream one day. We could do that now with StreamYard, can't we? So
yeah, can you? Wow.
Yeah, you can stream to both channels at the same time.
Can you? Well, we'll have to do that. Have to do that. Maybe on me and James quickly. I know you've got members to call in, but we might even do a Spurs quiz. I know you know your stuff. I'd like to think I know my stuff. Maybe bring in the Irish Hotspur if he's up for it.
I'll smash Dave.
I want to see.
I'll smash Dave on Tottenham knowledge.
I want to see.
I know my stuff, so you might want to see. You might have a bit of competition. These young guns are better than you think.
Maybe on the recent stuff, but not when he goes a little bit back in the
day. Let's see.
I want to see Irish Hotspur versus Spurs Talk Show. That would be a good one. Maybe get Coover on the Spurs Talk Show and Sean versus Irish Hotspur and Dave and Jack. That would be a good matchup. We'll get that. So, guys, let us know in the comments if you want to see a quiz next week. Next week.
You know what you should do, actually, James, on your show? You should have like a round. You should have like a knockout stage. You should have like a draw, right? You should have like Tottenham on tour. And you're playing in the first round of the Spurs Community Quiz Cup. Tottenham on tour is playing Spurs Talk Show, and the other one it's going to be Irish Hotspur plays Tottenham away or whatever else. Right?
And do you know what you could do? You could have on your channel the Spurs Talk Show ponies against the Spurs Talk Show puppies.
I'm going to do that. I appreciate that. It's a great idea, and I will be doing that.
I'll have some of the commission from the super chats. Anyway.
James, just quickly, I definitely think that'd be an awesome idea. We do 1,000 subscriber special, hopefully gain some more subs, gain all that interaction, go live on our channel, go live on Sean's channel, if that's allowed, if you can do that, and do a massive quiz. I think that'd be awesome.
Got to big up Soul Taker, for coming in here. Congrats, guys. My missus had 10 accounts, so I added them all. What an absolute hero. So Soul Killer. What do you call him? Soul Killer? That's very aggressive.
Soul Taker. What I want to know is, why does your missus have 10 accounts? Is it one that she's happy for you to see and the other 9 that she's not so happy for you to see?
Yeah, 5 of them are Peggy 3 and 5 of them are not wife friendly. But anyway.
Big up Soul Taker. What a lad, legend.
Yeah, big up legend, mate. Good evening, lad, says Mick. Evening, mate. And Jeffrey says, just subscribe. I'll be watching you boys. COYS.
Man, Jeffrey Miller.
Jeffrey, really appreciate it. But guys, obviously, as we said before, we were streaming till 1K. I'd love to go on, but I know Sean wants to eat dinner. I'm sure Jack does as well.
We've done it. We've only done it.
Do you know what that means, though? That's not the end of the road. That means we're going to be bringing extra content next week, extra videos. You know, just keep smashing the like button, keep smashing the subscribe button.
Near the end of the road, I'm telling you, this is the start of something that's only going to get bigger and bigger. And I seriously can't wait, because I promise you there's going to be some serious content and you're going to love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, boys. Well done.
Saltika says, had to be done, mate. She has them all for a game she plays. Well, I'll leave Sean to ask the questions on what game she's playing. But Mick said, just subscribe.
She's playing you like a fucking fiddle, bro. No, I'm only kidding, Saltika. I'm only kidding, mate.
Ellie says, Ellie
says, is it time to wrap up?
Yeah. I'm a Spurs Talk Show pony.
You are a show pony.
Hey, not whoop whoop. Finish the result at the end of the stream. Love it. Mixture of subscribe. Really appreciate it, mate. And we did it again. 1,000 subscribers.
We did it again. 1,000 subscribers.
Can we
did it again?
Just to celebrate, and just before we end the stream and everything else, Sean, please can we get instead of it's game day, can we have a 1K subscriber version of that? I'll put him on the spot. Maybe we'll just end the stream.
1,000 subscribers!
Absolutely love it. See, I knew it was worth it. Everyone loved that. Everyone absolutely loved that. But guys, no, massive thank you to everyone that's got us to a K. Like we said, we'll do a video next week with Andre as well. Obviously, he's been a big part of the journey as well. We'll also do loads of videos next week, all to transfer news, all transfer.
Online, trust me, when I said there's going to be some proper content, I'm not lying. I really am not lying.
Exactly. But also, yeah, massive thanks to everyone in the chat tonight, because there's been some people there for nearly the whole 2 hours. But also, massive thanks to Sean for not only bringing some of his Spurs puppies and ponies over, but all his great talking points, great debates, and his 2 hours of his time. Really appreciate it, Sean. And don't forget, obviously, I'll return the favour whenever you want me on. But Sean, massive thanks. Let's smash, in case you're not subscribed to Sean, which I'm sure you are, because he's absolutely flying on YouTube. Please, Sean, can you let us know where they can find you?
Yeah, guys, no need to thank me. I really enjoyed it. It was a great stream. Love the chat. You can find me at Spurs Talk Show, all one word, # no spaces, on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. But YouTube's really my focus. So yes, Spurs Talk Show.
Exactly that. And I've just put it on in both the Facebook and the YouTube chat, guys. That is his link. Please go and subscribe, even if we only get a couple over to him. If you're not subscribed, you know, the likes of AN Army, the likes of the Spurs Relatables, the Spurs Relatable Army, I want to see you guys go and smash the like button or smash the thumbs up on his latest video and subscribe. That would mean a lot, especially for his time tonight. Ellie saying, love that, Shawnee, 1,000 subscribers. Should be revising my GCSEs, but ended up watching this masterclass of a stream. Edward, don't let us get you in trouble for Monday morning, mate, but really appreciate the support. But
don't
yeah,
worry
like I
about your
said,
GCSEs, mate. They don't matter. Enjoy your
you'll be a Spurs YouTuber.
Enjoy your summer, bro. Don't fucking worry about it.
all that Eriksen's coming back.
There you go. There's one subscriber over.
I'm kidding, Edward. Study hard, bro. It's important.
Study hard.
It's not important.
There you go, Sean. Iron Army subscribed over at the Spurs Talk Show. Absolutely love it.
Army. I'll see you there.
Big up Iron Army. Been one of the first people I know. Legend, mate.
Honestly, Iron Army. We'll do a 1K video next week. But Iron Army was one of the guys that was first commenting on all our videos, even when we had like 4 or 5 viewers. So big thanks to people like Jack. Don't downplay us.
Big one now. We can. Got to talk about the lows.
Anyway, guys. That is everything. Like I said, go and subscribe to Sean. Smash the like button. Smash the like button on this video as well. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's get past that 1K. We're heading for 2K now. Jack, also thank you very much for your time and your stats and great opinions as always, mate. Thanks to the chat. And I think I've covered everything, guys. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday evening. And we'll see you next week for loads of videos. Take care. Remember, as always, come on, you Spurs. 1K, come on. Subscribe